What is a ladybird deed? Do I need one?
Welcome to Barry's Bites. Please join our host, attorney and financial advisor Chris Barry.
The big issue is dealing with real estate. So a lot of times when we're talking about estate planning, one of the first things is dealing with estate administration, because everyone wants to avoid probate upon death. And so with estate administration, you need to understand how assets transfer upon death. And so first would be joint ownership. So joint ownership, great for a married couple. Wouldn't recommend naming anyone else joint to any of your accounts. I wouldn't recommend naming any of your kids joint to your real estate, because you're opening yourself up to all the potential liabilities of that person. Second would be beneficiary designations. So I met with a family today. Mom was living with son, just had a couple of bank accounts and a life insurance policy. Didn't really have much, but we wanted to stress that with those bank accounts at the credit union, that they were transfer on death or payable on death to someone to avoid probate. Third would be a trust. Not everyone needs a trust, but there's a lot of good reasons why you may want to consider a trust. But if an asset doesn't go through one of the first three ways, then it ends up going into probate. And we want to avoid this because it's time consuming. So it's a 5-month at least process in Michigan. And typically 3 to 5% of any assets get eaten up in fees, whether it's inventory fees, filing fees, publication fees, etc. It's time consuming, and then the cost. That's why people want to avoid probate. So what's the one thing I didn't mention? Didn't mention a will, because a will does not avoid probate. What a will does is gives instructions to the probate court on how to administer your estate. So if you have like liquid assets like 401ks, IRAs, life insurance, a lot of times those are handled through beneficiary designations. But where people get hung up is on real estate, because you would never want to name your kids joint on your real estate. There's a bunch of reasons why that's a bad idea. From a tax standpoint, from a liability standpoint, just a bad idea. So how do we avoid probate with real estate? So one option is you can name the trust as the owner. So we would deed it directly into the trust. The other option is we can do what's called a ladybird. What a ladybird deed is a type of deed to say that it's in your name while you're alive, and then upon death, it goes into the trust. So basically, it's kind of like a beneficiary designation for your home. So your home is yours. You can do whatever you want while you're alive and well, but then upon death, it goes into the trust, or it goes to whoever you've named as a beneficiary, thereby avoiding probate. We do a ton of these ladybird deeds. Anytime you have a revocable living trust or a will-based estate plan and you own real estate, we're almost always doing a ladybird deed. We probably do conservatively like 500 ladybird deeds a year. Like we do a ton of ladybird deeds. Now, when would you not do a ladybird deed? If you're setting up an asset protection trust. So if we're deeding the property directly to the trust, then we would deed it directly into the castle trust, because then you could sell the property and the proceeds of the sale would be protected. Another nice thing about the ladybird deed, so what does it do? Big thing is it avoids probate. And then also what it can do is avoid estate recovery upon death. So if you still own the home and you were to need Medicaid, the home would be exempt. And then with the ladybird deed, it would avoid that estate recovery where they could place a lien on your home upon passing. So if you own real estate, really, there's two options. One is that ladybird deed. The other is we would deed that home directly to the asset protection trust. And really, those are the only two ways that typically we deal with real estate. If you have second pieces of property, I guess a third option might be like a rental property. We might put that into an LLC. Then we would assign to the trust. My point with this, don't forget about real estate when it comes to putting together your estate plan and coming up with a plan to avoid probate. Ladybird deed, great tool.